A little something about that I wanted to talk about. Run it by the audience real quick, because they're the stakeholders in this creative endeavor we're going on.
Right.
They have everything to lose. They've put all the real money into it. And I was just curious, how about we make some friendship bracelets for Under the Influence podcast?
For us three.
Would you guys be
Is that our
interested in
first merch?
And a merch item, yeah. Under the Influence, and you flip it, of Jesus. Or you can just wear the of Jesus.
All right, roll the intro.
Evening, officer. Is something wrong?
Just keep your hands where I can see them. Routine traffic stop. We got reports of someone driving under the influence. You know anything about that?
No, I'm only under one influence.
What's that?
The influence of Jesus.
It's time for Under the Influence.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, guys? It's your favorite of the three hosts on the Under the Influence podcast.
That's a dirty lie.
No,
Peeking
it's
the
not.
mics, dude.
We're peeking on Mike. I'm your favorite co-host, Jude, joined by your two other favorite co-hosts, Levi. That's my brother. This is another installment, episode 72 of the Under the Influence podcast. We've been doing this for
22.
over a year, almost two. We're excited. We've come a long way. Let us know if you like the new intro music. I don't. I think it's derivative. Other than
We're
that,
nearing the end of season 1.
this is true.
That'll have been
And
6 months of this podcast having gone out. Isn't that pretty cool?
Yes. Wow. We should get them all on DVD Blu-ray.
Ouch. That's
Levi just slammed his face into the table. Yeah. Just to make noise.
It only sounded painful, though. It didn't look painful.
No, he's fine.
He's got a face of stone. If you guys would like to get more involved with the podcast, check us out on Discord, Facebook, and Twitter. You can talk to us about the things we've talked about, yell at us for the things we got wrong, or maybe praise us for the things we got right.
Don't praise us.
No, I'm not saying worship. You can praise someone for
That would be idolatry.
Dude, yeah. So if you'd like to do that, adultery, that would be adultery. I think
Bigotry.
you got your facts a little mixed up. On what? On Twitter, we're CI Games XYZ. I believe on Facebook, you can just find us Under the Influence Podcast. It's at Under the Influence of Jesus, I think. And then, what was the last one? Oh, the big one, Discord. Go to christianinfluence.net or discord.gg/christianinfluence. It's a great place. It's full of cool community and fun stuff to do and talk about, but also one of those things is a little channel for Under the Influence. So you can send us suggestions, talk to us personally, communicate with us, communicate with other people that also love the show, because you're not the only one. There's about
5 of you.
yeah,
Maybe.
maybe.
A little something about that I wanted to talk about. Run it by the audience real quick, because they're the stakeholders in this creative endeavor we're going on.
Right.
They have everything to lose. They've put all the real money into it. And I was just curious, how about we make some friendship bracelets for Under the Influence podcast?
For us three.
Would you guys be
Is that our
interested in
first merch?
And a merch item, yeah. Under the Influence, and you flip it, of Jesus. Or you can just wear the of Jesus.
Did
and
you
flip it and go Under the Influence?
I used to have a little bracelet that I think my grandma gave me that was a WWJD bracelet.
Yeah.
Did you ever see those?
Multicolored.
So many people had them with the little beads on them and
I
stuff.
remember them in middle school.
Yeah. What if we made something like that?
Yeah.
That
That's what I'm
said,
saying.
I'm under the influence.
And then on the other side.
Or on one side it says,
UTI.
no, it says, I have a...
I have a UTI.
No, it says...
Do you have UTI? Are you
am
UTI?
Are you UTI?
Are you under?
No, it says, hey, copper. Is that hey, police guy? And then you flip it over, it says, under the influence of Jesus.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I like the idea, certainly.
Or it's like, hey, police guy, I'm under the influence. And they look at it and they're like, gonna have to take you in. And then you go, wait,
officer.
no reverse moment. And you flip it over and it says, of
And then
Jesus.
you fake them out. Yeah, reach in your glove box and you put. But then it's just all you.
And you just get shot on the side.
No, all you do is you flip the thing so it says Jesus.
Reach in your glove box and say, under the influence of Jesus.
Let us know if that's something you'd be interested in. Also, because the biggest dilemma I have when I'm out in public is wondering, oh gosh, do all these people listen to my podcast?
Yeah.
How
There's
would
no
I
way
know?
of knowing.
I have no way of knowing.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if like they're embarrassed because they're kind of around
Because
like
they could
a
be looking
star.
at you and be like, that's Jude.
That's Jude. Or
Yeah.
that's Levi.
Wow, I recognize.
They're
this
looking at you
radio
going,
face.
that's Levi.
Yeah. But if I had the bracelet, if they had the bracelet, I could just be like, hey,
Yeah. So what you're
job.
saying
Keep
is
it
we
up.
need like a way of identifying ourselves as well as other people who are fans of the show in the wild.
yeah.
Okay. Let's say
What if
we go
had
through
like
this.
a salute.
Ooh. What if we hang on? Don't smirk like that when you say that.
I'm not smirking.
What
I'm
in all
smiling.
seriousness, what if we do create right here like a secret handshake or
Yeah,
salute?
in an audio format so that all
So
the
that
listeners
everyone-
Describe it.
Well,
For
well,
example,
no.
like you
Whenever-
can put your
when they-
arm up and
shake someone else's hand.
shake someone else's hand. That's audio. It works.
No, you both close your eyes. You do the handshake, and if it makes the correct sound, you know that the other person's part of
Ah,
it.
it's all about the
So
sound.
you need to all decode how to make this sound. Shouldn't be very hard. Well, you got it wrong immediately, and you were watching me do it.
It's an audio format. It's hard to.
Oh, that's true. You only hear me. You don't see me. No. What was I saying before?
I have no.
A certain salute.
No, if we did actually do this though, with the salute or with the
friendship bands.
the friendship bands.
Yeah.
You know how crazy it would be if we saw somebody that we didn't know
In the wild.
wearing one of them.
Be really cool.
be like,
be like, hey, what's that? And
they're
they
like-
go,
I don't know. I found it in the trash.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that would be really sad.
I've been listening through the episodes, like, because I missed like 6 in a row. Mm-hmm. So I was catching back up. And there's a lot of times where you two are talking, and I'm just giving like reactionary noises. And this happens a lot. But like, that's what it is in my head. I'm thinking, I'll just go like, ooh, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I was listening to it, I'll just randomly moan during the podcast.
What?
I was listening to the podcast while I was driving, and then it'll just be like me. You two will be talking, and then I'll just go like,
It's. I mean, that's not a moment.
no, but you have to hear. I can't do it because
but
I'm
what
too
you're-
self-aware.
What you're
Like,
doing
to
is
do
you're
it.
like agreeing. I've heard it because we'll be talking. You're like, yeah.
yeah, but I'm just listening to like, oh, this was a good thing Jared and Levi are talking about, and then I'll hear,
The face you made. That's just the way we know that you're listening to us.
yeah, I don't like it. I got to be more intentional with my reactionary noises.
Amen.
What sound effect was that? You just play like a paper ball being thrown.
I just played the very beginning of the knocking sound effect, so it sounds like somebody dropped something.
That's exactly what it sounds like. I dropped a bouncy ball on a metal floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it was. I actually didn't mean to click it. I was trying to just do something else, but it's fine. Okay. I don't think I ever talked about the Patreon, but if you do want to support Christian Influence and all the other things that we plan on doing in the future, there's a great way for you to do that, and that is checking out our Patreon. We've got some bonus content that we post occasionally there, but also if you're a member of our Discord and you take part in our giveaways every month, you can get like bonus giveaway entries for being a part of it and all that. So if that's something that interests you, we would greatly appreciate the support. It's certainly not necessary, but it means a lot to us. But just listening to the podcast also means a lot. Not to derail what we were talking about there for a second, but earlier you kind of yoinked the talking stick away from me and started talking about something else. So
The talking conch shell.
yeah.
Yeah, I took it.
What's that from again?
SpongeBob?
Lord of the Flies.
That's true. It's not from
guess.
SpongeBob.
No, in Lord of the
It
Flies.
is from Lord of the Flies.
That's where SpongeBob would be referencing.
I'm pretty
from.
sure, yeah.
Isn't it a conch
Yeah,
that
but
allows them to?
Is it a conch or?
that it's like whoever holds the conch is like the one that can talk, right?
Yeah.
Is that Lord
But
of
in
the Flies?
SpongeBob, it's the conch. They pull the string.
You're
and
talking
then
about
it
that one.
Tells them.
Okay. I thought that there was
to get
something
one
in
of those.
SpongeBob that was like that too. Somebody. Oh, I was doing. Okay, recap because it's been a few weeks since we've recorded. For those listening, no time at all has gone by. we have released on time,
Every time.
not a minute late,
Have we missed a
not
week?
an hour late. What?
Have we ever missed a week?
We've never missed a week.
We
what?
were like halfway through the day.
We were a little late because guy in the chair didn't realize that. I think he didn't realize he was supposed to post it because I don't know if I told him because I was gone.
But he knew.
But he posted it, and it was only a couple hours late. We've never missed a week, though, and we're not going to start now. No, but for the listener, it's been no time at all. But for us, it's been like 3 weeks. I have been, for the last 2 weeks, I have been on the road doing shows again, like some of you have heard us talk about before. But where was I going with that, Levi?
Rock and roll.
You were regaling us with all the...
No, there was something that we just talked about that reminded me of something, and now I totally lost it.
Well, we just talked about the conch shell.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. When I just have a funny story about that, but we can talk about that later. Levi, you had something you wanted to talk about first, right?
Levi, you had something you wanted to talk about first?
Yeah.
This isn't a bit.
Yeah. On my way here, I was going down I-5, right?
Doxed, wow.
I mean,
Yeah, we live somewhere on the western side.
Yeah, I live somewhere between Alaska
Mexico and Canada.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Wait, does it go to Alaska?
It goes like almost. It goes very close. You have to take a different.
Does it go to Canada?
Yeah,
Well,
it goes through.
It would go
Canada.
straight into Canada, but then it's no longer Interstate 5.
No,
It's
but
interstate,
it continues.
but the
then
road
it-
itself-
the road,
however,
Isn't
the
that
road
crazy?
continues.
I was thinking about that,
but
while
it
I was
never
driving.
makes it to Alaska. You have to turn off of it.
Of course, yeah, because Alaska's left.
Yeah.
But David and I were talking about that. It's crazy to think where we live, how close we are to 2 countries.
2 countries?
I think about this sometimes, but yeah, 2 other countries.
What's the...
I mean, I think the crazier thing to think about is in Europe, like where their states are, those
Yeah.
are just different countries.
Yeah.
And like Oregon is like massive.
Compared to European countries. Yes, I
city-states.
think about that too.
Wait a minute. What's the second country?
Canada and Mexico.
Oh, Mexico.
idiot.
We don't live near Mexico.
Well, listen,
Oh, but the thing
we're
is,
near it. No, in all seriousness though, David and I were driving back from Bend, back over here, and that's like a 3-hour drive. And then we realized when we got back, we're like, oh, we, like by day's end, we could just drive to Canada. Like we could get there by the end of the day if we really wanted to. If we we're already in road trip mindset. Like we could just go to another country. And then we realized, whoa! I was like, Dave, you realize like how close we actually are to Canada, another country? And I was like, I've never even been there, and we're so close. And then he goes, yeah, you know what's even crazier? How close we are. The fact you've never been there, and yet you've been to Mexico, which is like 13 hours away.
farther away.
Yeah, but Canada's what, 4? No, that's
No,
wrong.
Seattle's 4.
It's more like 6, probably
yeah.
It's 6.
6 or 7
I would have
hours.
thought it was like 7.
I mean, I'm just guessing. I could look it up, but
But what's
hate it when I
crazy
do
is
that.
I've seen a lot of posts and stuff like Europeans talking, and they're like, it's crazy for them to think about Americans and for us to think about them because they won't like go to family reunions and stuff or like see their families because they live so far away. It's an 1.5-hour drive, and they're like, I'm not going to do that.
yeah, my grandma flew from Georgia.
I'm not going to go to France from England because it's an 1.5-hour drive.
Well, that's probably different. Some different people too, because I've heard of people in Europe that are just like, I went to 3 countries today to see my different family.
Yeah.
Like,
but there are
depends on the
other
people group.
but there's a lot of people that are just like, I'm not going to do that. We're like every day we drive like half an hour to go to like church every week, and they could like go to a different country.
Yeah,
That's just crazy.
it is crazy.
But
I looked it up. The closest border city in British Columbia.
No, we want Canada.
Sorry, idiot. No, literally right where I-5 ends. There's a little place called White Rock. Drug reference.
Whitestone.
And it is 5 hours and 47 minutes.
Wow.
To get there from where we are
That
right now.
is so...
Doable.
hey, you guys
Like,
want to go to Canada?
You drive.
I know. Every day I drive a further distance.
Yeah, well,
farther
on
distance.
Wednesday, you basically drive to California. Yesterday,
Yes.
you did drive
I
to
did
California.
drive to California. Eureka!
You could be
California.
in White Rock, British Columbia. What, sooner than you could be in California? No, that's a falsehood.
That is a false.
Well, that's
No,
the
that's
exact.
definitely wrong because
Yeah,
like
how
4
long is it?
hours,
5
4
hours
hours
and
to
10
the
minutes?
California border from where we are, huh?
5 hours and 40 minutes.
5 hours and 45 minutes to White Rock.
What I drove on Monday was 5 hours and 10 minutes, and I was in California.
So it's like the same distance, dude. We're like right in the middle
Yeah.
of White Rock, Canada,
And Weed, California.
and dude, 2 drunk references. Oh, crap.
Once I visit White Rock, I will have everything I need.
No, it's just interesting to think about how close we are to.
It's crazy. I want to go to Canada. I know it's a bit silly.
Wow, and then how far away Alaska is.
I want to go to Alaska really bad.
We've got a friend that's going to Alaska real soon.
Yeah, I'm so jealous. Think I can sneak in a suitcase?
You could
I don't think I could.
probably get real cold.
sneak in his suitcase. Sorry, that's my impression of you.
Oh.
Anyway,
Yeah, so you
going down I-5.
on your way to White Rock.
And my driving history, I've only ever been in one wreck. It was because a motorcycle went 80 miles an hour down a 35. No, it's a 30.
It's a 30.
Going 80 miles an hour down a 30, and I was pulling out in front of him, and he wasn't even like on the street until
Yeah.
after I was in the road.
Well, it's the way that road was too. I mean, because that's when we lived together.
Yeah.
So when you pull out of our driveway, it was onto a semi-busy road. You know, it's like a kind of downtown center road.
But like the areas that if there's not a car, you're completely fine. And I'm turning left. This guy comes out of nowhere, 80 miles an hour, hits the back of my car, spins me around, totals my car, and I go 180.
And almost totaled his life.
Yeah, he dies like 4 times on the
Yeah.
surgery table from his
Yikes.
injuries. But anyway, I hate driving around motorcycles. Like, whenever I see them, I'm always like, oh, there it is. I'm going to try and avoid it as much as I can.
You mean because of that experience or always?
Oh, I already was like that to begin with. And then that crash just cemented that mindset in.
Right.
Good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. Probably good thing. Anyway.
Wait, good thing that you're afraid of driving around them?
No, that I'm more aware of them because they're.
Hey,
more
that guy
wrecked.
took one for the team. Now you will be more aware of all the rest of them.
Yeah.
What a guy.
And no, but this guy, starts to slow down on his motorcycle, and he's like, he was zipping through traffic behind me. He gets just past me, and then he starts slowing down, and I'm like, huh, that's weird. And he keeps looking down at the gauges on his motorcycle, and he's only in shorts, and well, he's like the top half of him is in like full riding gear, like full helmet, like
The cool
fancy
jacket.
visor. And the padded jacket,
Cool.
and then he just has cargo shorts,
Nice.
Nice.
which odd pairing. But anyway, he keeps looking down and his gauge is
it's
slowing
hot
down
outside.
and we're like, huh, all right. I wonder what he's doing. And then he just guns it, does a wheelie down I-5,
Oh, wow.
and
What?
Oh, wow.
he almost hits the car in front of him because he
Which was
doesn't give
you,
himself
right?
quite enough room.
I thought you were behind him
Oh,
Yeah, I'm behind him.
Oh,
I'm
I'm sorry.
watching him go.
I'm an idiot.
a little bit.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah. But he just pops a wheelie, and then I'm like, huh. And then I'm about to turn off to the exit to go down the parkway. And then he just like cuts past like 3 lanes of traffic and goes down the same exit. And I'm just like,
He's following you.
because I don't want to hit the guy.
Yeah.
When he inevitably messes up.
Yeah.
And
just starts
then
like-
I got here just fine. And the guy turned later on. But that
In
was
the
it.
driveway right behind you.
He did a wheelie down I-5, and I was real nervous for him.
I don't like it when they do that.
I don't like it either.
Dude, wheelies on motorcycles on busy roads. I can't think of anything that's.
And this wasn't like light traffic. This was like it wasn't like heavy, like stop and go, but it was like the road is filled,
Yeah.
and he just slowed himself down so he got enough room in front of him
Yeah.
that he had like a little strip.
If
to
somebody like
pop, somebody could have just
braked.
either braked or just like
Rapidly change lanes.
change lanes.
Yeah.
He's a
like
dead
a
man.
normal person, a normal pace would have done.
Yeah.
He would have just like climbed in their car in his wheelie state.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so he's gonna ramp up them and just.
It wasn't until I
Off
started
into the sky.
driving for the company that,
You got in so many wrecks?
well, that's yes, but
True.
also I knew how a blinker worked, and I always used my blinker, but I just would turn it on as soon as I was switching lanes and then turn it off. There was no time where the blinker was on,
Yeah.
and I wasn't changing lanes. I would just be like, lane's clear, flick the blinker as I'm turning into
It's
the
like
lane.
it's like a
that's illegal
courtesy.
flag.
It's definitely, it does nothing. It defeats the purpose of the blinker.
No,
Yeah.
the blinker needs to be on for enough time.
Yeah, like
yeah.
a good 5 minutes before you actually
Well-
change lanes. I just, it was insane. I
turn your
never
blinker
always
on, you're
knew
like,
how
"Start
it
the
worked." And then
timer,
one
5
time,
minutes.
I was just driving with one of my friends, and they were like, you should turn that on before you start to change lanes. I was like, you're right, I don't. I should do that.
You start changing lanes and then you flick it on.
Yes,
then. It's
that's
like,
how
I'm
it
already-
usually works.
That's,
I mean, I think
that's horrible.
I don't do that. I haven't done
sometimes
that in
that-
years.
Yeah, but that's
Sometimes
that's
that happens
horrible.
if you like you're driving mindlessly, whatever you
Yes.
forget. Like it's understandable, but if that's the habit you make,
That was just what I did.
yeah. Oh,
I just never thought about it. And I never got in an accident. It was only when I started using it properly
Oh,
that I
good
got
point.
in accidents.
well,
Makes you think.
All of them blinker related.
This is not true.
That is not true.
every accident Jude has been in has been.
I got hit by a blinker. I hit a blinker.
I ran out of blinker fuel and hit a guy.
Blinker fluid.
I ran out of blinker fluid and my blinkers just turned off.
Exploded.
Out the
Combusted
front.
my engine.
That's funny.
Your guys' blinker ever explode?
No, it's
No.
yours.
You know, a few times.
My new car does run out of blinker fluid extremely quickly, though.
Has anyone actually
I've
ever
spent
done
like
that?
$800 at the auto shop getting extra fluid.
Like, has anyone ever actually like gone in for?
Oh yeah,
100%. I've seen
100%.
I've
And
seen
ask for
videos
blinker
of
fluid?
dads
Yeah.
just trolling their like kids
Yeah,
doing that.
Sending their kids
100%.
in.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
like
rad.
16-year-olds who just got
Yeah.
their car and are just like, I'll
yeah.
do whatever I have to.
And then you have there are images that I've seen a lot that like back when I was on Facebook, there would be like a lot of dads that would post them because there were pictures of a blinker light like section on a car and it's filled with fluid because it rained and there was a crack.
Oh,
And it was like a third full and then it would be like top and bottom caption that would just be like remember to fill your blinker fluid.
Facebook memes, the best kind.
Top text, bottom text. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say exercise? I meant extra fries.
Yikes, that was loud. Yeah, Joel, our little brother, during these last two shows has been showing me a lot of memes. Oh man. His generation,
yeah.
the memes though, it's like an emoji that just turns around and it says something like
Me when I the cat.
me when I, when you, when I, then when the cat, when. Like just a bunch of me when I's.
Yeah.
And it's so like,
Are you becoming an old man?
dude, I've never felt more like what old
Detached.
people feel. Yeah.
Completely
When-
out of the loop of the joke. Like,
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this before, but I think that generational gaps are
getting
growing
shorter.
smaller and
Yeah.
smaller, right? And I think it has everything to do with the dissemination of information, right? Is that the wrong word?
No, that's the
Okay.
right word. I think,
Like how
for sure.
quickly information travels, because I think that's a
And-
large part of why generations in the sense of like what they share.
Gen Z, to
Like-
Gen,
Like
Well, if
that,
you have-
the half-life of comedy
Yes.
Has-
because of that.
extremely deteriorated because of all of this.
Because of memes and internet culture but I mean like what everybody knew, like the inside jokes of the generation of like our grandparents and the music they listened to, and everybody knew these artists, everybody knew this. It's because of how information traveled. And then now with how information travels, it's like you and I can be 3 years apart and know none of the same stuff basically.
yeah.
And then you make a joke and I just
But like you can
care less.
say something or like show some image and it has all of these connotations that
Yeah.
have nothing to do with the image at all. It's just because of meme context.
yeah.
But the first time that I experienced something like that, the year after we graduated.
Was that on purpose?
No. it wasn't. But the year after we graduated, I saw memes that were about what was on the standardized testing.
Oh, yeah.
Because
You always see like
those would always become like the meme.
Yeah.
And
You're just like, oh,
something
crap,
about, like,
I'm out of the loop.
But
Bob
like
and his
I
17
see it and I'm
tomatoes.
like, what is going on? Because I've never been out of the loop on them. And then I
Oh,
see
yeah.
it and I was like, wow. I had it explained. Like there were comments that would just like explain what it was, but I still no idea.
Aren't all those standardized tests a little different per person? Like some of those questions, they don't,
No,
you don't
there's
get
like
like
four.
There are
Bob
different standardized
That's right. There's 4
tests.
different ones. So like you and the person
But, like-
next to you don't have the same one.
Yeah, there's like 4 different ones so that they like spread it out.
They
but
couldn't
it's
make them all
over the
different.
same things.
Every kid in America has a different test. They have to come up with like a billion different names so that it's not all Bob has 17 pieces of corn.
and Zerubbabel has 4. They're really running low on names.
No, I was just talking to Joel and he was showing these memes to me and I just thought they're so bad. They're not funny, man. I'm sorry if you're listening. Joel.
Sometimes they're funny.
But I mean, what I do find funny
Hey,
is
Joel,
how funny
Joel.
Joel finds them.
Joel,
because
listen
he's
to this.
laughing, giggling,
Yeah.
so loud. Just
Jerry
like,
hates your sense of humor
no,
entirely.
I think Joel's very
Yours
funny,
in particular.
and sometimes he does show me memes that are funny, but then it's just like. What was the one that he found so funny? I'll have to find it. It's in the Christian influence memes. Somebody
Is it Sensei Wu?
you can tell. No, I kind of find that funny. You can also tell how old someone is, I think, by the memes they send. Well, I mean, definitely. But you can tell how young someone is. Like, there's some people in our Discord who occasionally post memes, and I'm like, oh, you're definitely like Joel's age-ish, because they're just things like an emoji spinning around going like,
Be one-eyed cat.
or no, it'll just say text.
That's funny.
I love the like bottom text.
Yeah.
But
Me
just-
when I bottom text.
That's yeah. Levi, you sent that one the other day that was very funny. How about all this for $6.99? Grand Slam Dolph. I thought that was good.
I don't get it.
Yeah, if you don't get
It's
it,
a
join our Discord.
picture. Yeah, I guess audio it doesn't translate well. It's a picture of Gandalf in the Shire, like up.
He knocks on Frodo's door.
Bilbo's door.
Well, I mean, it's the same door. And then Bilbo's like, "Go away. No,
We don't want any more visitors.
no visitors." And then he's like,
Yeah. Then
"What
it shows
about
Gandalf
all
with
of this food for $6.99
with a platter of pancakes, hash browns, and bacon on his face. And then,
Grand Slam Dolph.
yeah, it's not funny now. We shouldn't have talked about it. It's my fault.
Yeah, it is your fault. How dare you?
No, there's just these.
Maybe it's you. Maybe you're the one that makes things unfunny.
Am I the problem?
You might be the problem.
Do I have a problem? Well, I'm not going to find it, and I'm not going to waste any more time trying to find it. But there was just a meme that I was like, "Oh man, this guy's definitely young." Like,
That is a child.
yeah. But all right, well, I guess we're just kind of rambling now. I'll move on a little. What?
I looked in the meme channel of our Discord, and it's just I'm out of it, man.
Oh, did you find one already? That was.
Well, I don't know. Like, it's just Goku with a gun.
Oh, I sent that one. That one's funny. It's because Goku or Dragon Ball is all coming to Fortnite.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, they're doing a big Dragon Ball event, and so
Oh no.
the image is just Goku's going to be in Fortnite. So get used to seeing this, and it's Goku with a gun.
And then there's a horrendously corrupted, like 360p video of SpongeBob
Patrick. Yeah.
and Patrick, but it's like 16-bit. It's just awful.
You see the one Mikey Noodles posted? The FBI raided the homes of Joel Osteen and Stephen Furtick today,
Oh my word.
reportedly looking to secure any traces of solid theology they might possess. They came away empty-handed.
Dude, I'm seeing more and more
Mikey
Stephen Furtick
Noodles
on Instagram.
posts the best.
Yeah.
Like
That reminds me.
what?
Yeah, he does though. Sometimes
You post
there's a
the
few
best stuff.
There's a few that are a little too spicy as far as like taking sides on like certain things.
Oh,
So
I
sent
love
them
it.
directly to him, and I chuckle about them because he posts some that are like, you know, different sides of the whole Calvinism thing.
I do like that it's sending both sides.
He does,
because
yeah.
it's
But
just-
sometimes I find one that's, regardless of what side it's on, it's a little too heavy. And I sent it just directly to him. I think I sent the same one to you. But no, that reminds me, I saw a guy wearing a shirt. You know those things that say like it's like, they're like black shirts, and in the top left, I have no idea what they're from or what they are. But I've seen this like, sometimes like a designer shirt will go out there and then a bunch of people will use the same format, like the Run. What was that? You remember? There was a t-shirt that said like Run on top of it, and then it would say something underneath it. Like I saw one, people used it for D&D, and it said like Run D&D. But there was a bunch of them that was like Run and then other stuff underneath.
Keep calm and
the Keep Calm. Yeah. So there's this newer one that's like at the top of it, it's like a black shirt with white letters. In the top left, it says like anti-something club.
Anti-social social club.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about or what
I know, no, I just know.
But a bunch of people use that format, like to kind of play off that same thing, and it'll say like anti whatever, right? I saw one that said, wait, yeah, okay, it was anti-prosperity gospel club, and I was like, dude, I love your shirt, and he was like, really? Because I was at the show selling him kettle corn, and he bought some, and I was like, I love that shirt. And I should have asked him where he got it. I'll have to Google it because I kind of want it. But he was like, really? Okay, good. He goes, a lot of people like don't get it. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, well, I mean, it's
not the most intuitive. Like,
I don't know. Yeah. I guess maybe for me, whatever. But I was like,
you're
I don't
a
know.
smart guy.
Well, it's like it's one of the. It's like
he says in a Jordan Peterson voice.
I was trying to do Owen Wilson.
It's. I thought it was Owen Wilson.
Okay, thanks.
No, I just told him, I was like, no, I love it. I mean, that's kind of the sickness of the American church today. And he was like, amen, brother. Here's $8 for this kettle corn, and then left.
Do you have an $8 bag? Do we have an $8 bag?
Yeah, it's the large. It's huge.
No, it was
that's
actually
right. It's $8.
$5 of tip.
Yeah, he bought the $3 bag, which doesn't exist, and gave me a $5 tip. Dude, sometimes people give like, when Joel is working the front, quite a few people dropped like $6 in the tip jar.
He's a child.
Huh?
Scary.
Yeah. Well, oh, yikes. Okay.
No, it's just they feel bad for the child labor.
No, that's definitely what it is. There were some people that are like, have you been here all day? Yeah, here's $1. And then that gets split 3 ways.
All the money actually goes to everybody else.
Time for our cut, Joel. You can have this one. Oh, wait, that's the seed. Gotta put it back in.
There was something I wanted to talk about that happened at the show that I was going to say earlier.
You talked about a cool ministry.
And then I forgot it. And then I remembered and said, wait, Levi, you go first. And now I've forgotten it again.
Wow.
So if I remember later. Ow. That hurt really bad.
He just tried to flick something off the table, but just flicked into the table.
Really hard.
And just broke his fingernail.
Yeah. No. But there is something I need to say to all the listeners out there. I have an apology to make.
What? What have you done?
On the last episode, we talked about something, and I said something, and immediately after we finished recording, Levi berated me for it.
Oh, I did. He
made a point. I won't say it was a good one, but he made a point, and he berated me ruthlessly. And we were talking about a missions trip that I went on with David and Jude, who I forgot was there until last week, or last time we talked about it.
Oh, cool.
No, just kidding. I think I actually did forget because you said you were there, and I was like, oh, yeah, you were there.
That's cool.
But I talked about it, and we were talking about when you are serving and you are helping, you're doing your best to serve God and help people, and kind of planting those seeds, right, ministering to them, and how you won't always see. Oh, you didn't even realize what I was talking about?
No, I had no idea what you were talking about. I literally did not. But yes, I did berate him for this afterwards.
About how you you won't always see the end result. You won't always see the harvest, and you need to be okay with that. You need to be at peace with that. You need to know that as long as you are serving God, right, and glorifying Him, and being an ambassador, then whether you see it or not, it is for His glory and for His satisfaction, not our own. And I said all this, right? We talked about this for a while and talked about how you need to be okay with that and be ready for it. And then I said, but at this one, I did see it.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think was an issue because in my head, I had the context of knowing that there was a kid that I didn't see that in, but I didn't explain that. So if that episode left you reeling, just careening off into the galaxy without a parachute, that didn't make sense.
That does not make sense at all.
And you were just like, wait, Jerry said that you won't see it or you won't always see it. But then he said, but wait, I did see it. Then I'm sorry. But what I will say is what I should have said, which is a better example of what we were actually talking about. If I had wanted to stay on topic instead of then going off and saying, well, I did see it, which I wanted to share that because it was a very rewarding experience. On that same trip, one of the kids I was thinking about while we were talking about that, I don't remember his name, but that last episode I mentioned that there was a kid who had been an issue the whole time, and by the end of it, we got an opportunity to sit with him, and David and I actually got to pray with him, and he got to he accepted Christ as a savior, which was amazing to be a part of, right? It was amazing to serve God and be a part of that, at least to see that, right? And to hopefully have been a good ambassador to him. What I should have mentioned was the reason that kid was such an issue was because of another kid who was a bigger issue. He's the one that was like stabbing people. And I think we mentioned this. I said something about like
He stabbed
he like stabbed somebody, not like in prison style, but
He's
like
a child.
he grabbed something sharp and like jabbed it into another kid.
Oh yeah, I did that.
Is that not prison style stabbing? Did he like
He didn't like stab them in the spine.
It wasn't like a shanking.
he poked?
But it was more than a poke. It was like he intended to hurt them, but I don't think he intended to like dagger them in the neck and kill them.
Did he break their skin?
He cut them.
It went into them?
But it didn't go in. My point is it didn't penetrate into their skin.
So he poked him. Stab.
Listen, he took a sharp object, went up to somebody, went, ugh, and it cut them. However, it did not like into their flesh like an arrow, There's a difference, right? But he still stabbed them.
I mean,
Stabbed them.
But it didn't poke them. What's the better word?
He aggressively poked them.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Jabbed them.
Okay, fine. He jabbed them and cut them. He tried to stab them.
Because I had thought, because
I mean,
I was
I would
actually
call it
there,
stab.
contrary to what you might remember. And I don't remember a kid just straight up shanking another kid.
Prison style.
Yeah, I didn't remember that. So,
No, but do you remember the one I'm talking about?
no.
He was the skinnier kid, long hair.
I don't remember
anything.
who you're talking about.
The point is, there were these two kids, and the one kid was like the one that everybody was kind of scared of, but also thought he was cool because he did not care about being there. He had no desire to be there. He was just a absolute terror the whole time. He was hurting other kids. He was pushing them. He was rude. He was always an issue during like the worship service and the sermons. And you might not remember him because he wasn't there the whole time. But he had kind of a lackey. You know how the kids like this always have the kid that like worships them, kind of. He's like the one that's like, oh, I got in on the bully's good side, and so he's not picking on me, and he just kind of also bullies other kids, right? So the kid that we got to pray with was that kid, the kind of like the sidekick, right? But what I should have said was we really, really tried to minister to this kid we prayed with him a couple times, and now I'm talking about the real terror. We really tried to as much as we can, guide him in the right direction. And he's a better example of what we talked about that week, which was you're not always going to see the harvest. You're not always going to see the end, right? But you have to be as effective as you can. At least you should, right? And be a good ambassador. And we did our best, and we really did. And by the end of it, he ended up, because of some real issues, he said some things to some of the girls that was really bad, and he hurt that one kid with that shiv or whatever,
Prison shank.
and then they actually had to send him home. And so the thing there was some relief in that moment when we saw him have to leave, because it's like, oh well, maybe now we can, because it was actually degrading to the other kids' experience, right? They were all there to be there for like a church camp, but he had to go, and there was like a bit of relief in one moment because we're like, oh, well, now we can actually really more effectively minister to these other kids. But then there was this kind of heartbreaking moment where you realize, well, you think the whole time that like you're going to get through to the kid who's the real terror.
Yeah.
And then you don't get that movie moment. So I should have mentioned that before.
So I think adding that in really actually makes that story complete.
I mean, yeah, it does make the story complete. I didn't think that the other thing was a real issue, but.
Well, I think that it's much better now.
It is.
Having
Yeah, it
said
is.
that, because it shows, hey, sometimes you will see the fruit of your labors. And then in that same moment, sometimes you won't.
Yeah, and it wasn't. We didn't see the fruit of our labor, and we didn't see the profound impact that God had on one of these kids until that negative influence was gone. Right, that really negative influence was gone. And now the sad thing about that is that influence was a child, right, who you would love to see come to Christ, but he was unable to in that moment, or he was unable to at least respond to it appropriately. But I've prayed for that kid again, and since that experience, and thinking about it, like going home and being like, oh yeah, well there was this other kid that was actually the real issue, and he was the issue with the kid we prayed with. And once he was gone, David and I were actually able to pray with this kid, and he was saved. And I thought about that, and I was like, oh, I should have mentioned that on the podcast. I have now, since these last couple of weeks, when I've thought about him, I've prayed for him, and I've been keeping him in my prayers, because I really do hope that, the experience he had at that camp with us, there was some impact, and maybe that was some building blocks for the future. He got involved in a church or something, and turned things around a little bit. But yeah, so my deepest condolences, my deepest apologies to those who I led astray with that story last week. I hope now, with another puzzle piece in the mix, that story is more meaningful and impactful. And now you're not drifting through space without a parachute.
Senselessly hurtling through the Manhattan skyline without a parachute.
Yeah. Well, why'd you say it like that?
What do you mean?
Senselessly hurtling through the Manhattan skyline without a parachute. Well, you looked at me when you said it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I won't look at you that way again.
But yeah, there's my little apology segment.
It's
I'm sorry, Levi.
I do think it actually makes the story complete.
It absolutely does. You're right. It does make the story more complete. I was, to be truthful, while I was talking about it, I was mixing those two kids in my head, kind of initially, and then by the end of the story that week, when I was telling it, I was like, "Oh wait, that was two different kids." And then I thought, "No, it doesn't matter." But then
It did matter.
It did matter. No, but then when I was thinking about it at home, because you had just grilled me,
Yeah.
pushed me up
Almost
against
broke
the
our
wall,
friendship.
and just beat my face in, and you're like, "Dude, be better." Then I was like, "Oh, maybe I should have told the whole story."
He actually wasn't at a kettle corn thing. He was just in the hospital for
Jerry
in the
was in
hospital,
recovery.
Yeah, I was in recovery.
Fractured skull because of Levi.
Levi's a tough dude, man. He's scary. A little intimidating,
Well, Levi had been listening to the backlogged episodes, and he was thinking about that episode, like that kid getting put through the drywall, getting crumpled. And he thought, I'm going to lead Jerry to the Lord, lead him back. And so he just walked up to you and just walloped you in the chest as
just
soon as he
crumpled him.
could. Yeah.
Yeah, Levi crumpled me that day. I've never been the same.
And he led him to the Lord.
But he led me to the Lord.
And
that
I
day.
led him to
Have
the
you guys seen these AI-generated images?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
How have you not?
But I think there was something else I was going to talk about today,
Oh,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
No, that's all right.
I mean, the episode's not done yet.
we can just take that comment out.
We'll just cut that out.
Okay.
'Cause I want the audience to be surprised when you bring that up.
No, it's so
We've been putting it off, but I know we've
Now
been
watch
putting it
our
off because
editor
every
not-
time we bring it up, you want to be more prepared.
Now, for
I
those
just wanna talk about it
listening,
'cause I
because
think it's interesting.
this
And the
won't get
implications.
cut because the editor's not going to listen through and actually cut this part out.
It's,
You know what? Let's talk about it.
Make up your mind.
Do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to talk about my thing?
No, it's all right. I'll wait till the next episode.
I mean, we can always hold off on this really riveting conversation. If you
It's
have
pretty
something
riveting,
poignant
actually. You've
right
never
now.
even heard the whole.
You don't even know what it means.
I do.
What means?
Exactly. So
What?
go with your thing.
What Jude's thing
We'll talk about Jude's thing.
I'm pretty
later.
sure I know what he's talking about.
We'll push it off.
But like, there's such a
Further.
bigger picture that I never even got to discuss.
Well, so it probably needs a whole episode, right?
No, just
What was it? Gonna be like 5 minutes?
we could talk about your thing.
Let's go with your thing, Jude.
Mine's not that. I mean, mine's something interesting that happened during the show.
Go.
Oh,
for
the
it.
ministry.
Yeah, the thing you tried to bring up a little early.
I wasn't. I'm not like
You
trying to
know,
control
Joel.
the schedule. I was just trying to talk about stuff I knew we wanted to talk
Trying
about.
to move things along. Yeah, we get it. We get it.
Undermining Jerry's authority.
Yeah,
Whoa,
I don't
whoa,
like
whoa,
it to
whoa, whoa,
lull,
whoa, whoa,
you
whoa.
know? I
Don't
like
make
it
me out to
lull.
be a dictator.
I mean, but that's what this is, right?
Something about looking at you but hearing you as if you're speaking in both my ears at the same time.
Don't make me out to be a dictator.
I don't like it. You sound like someone a little bit. Huh? You sound like an actor, and I can't remember.
Giancarlo D'Esposito.
Giancarlo
how you say his name?
Okay.
D'Esposito.
D'Esposito? Or is it
It might be. I think it's
Despacito?
Despacito.
But that's the song.
Like
That's slowly.
No, that's Despacito. It's Despacito. Like
Did I say D'Esposito?
yeah, you might be right.
Giancarlo D'Esposito.
You
My name
guys,
just goes free.
What?
you guys know the actor that plays Machete?
Yes.
Yeah, something Danny Trejo.
So I was at work, right? And
saw
I'm
Danny Trejo?
pushing carts. And I'm pushing carts, right? I see this car, really cool car. It's I tried to take a picture of it, but it didn't go through. It's got on the side of it Umbrella Academy, and it has like their slogan. Or not Umbrella Academy, the Umbrella Corporation. And their slogan.
the zombie.
Everything from Resident Evil.
Resident Evil.
And it was like a company car for Umbrella Corporation.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a blacked out SUV. Very cool. But anyway, and then later on in the day, I'm pushing carts around. I look up and I see someone turn, and I look at the face, and it's him. 100%. Like, not a doubt in my mind. That
Danny
is him.
Trejo?
And then I looked down slightly from his face, and the rest of his body is like an anemic, like like just
Very, very thin.
wire little like high school kid.
Still
Not
could be
Danny
Danny.
Trejo.
Wait, what?
Like the
Like a high school kid?
like no like that kind of
With
like
Danny
wiry
Trejo's face?
like Jude's wiry body,
Ooh, get wrecked.
shorter, Mexican,
I'm tall.
and you slap on the face of
Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo.
That's horrific sounding. Because
It really is Danny
I know what
Trejo's
I
face.
look
Like it looks
It
like
is.
that, though?
It was
'Cause
100%.
He's like 70.
Danny Trejo. Yeah.
he's got
it wasn't.
a big
It wasn't a
face.
young person,
Oh, okay.
but it was like that body type of like the really skin, like when you were in high school.
So he was
all
like a pretty
wiry.
good looking guy. Like body, like he had a good body on
Yeah,
him.
like going through chemotherapy,
Yeah.
Interesting.
except
high
with
school.
really long hair. But it was so jarring to like see that face.
Dude, why would Danny Trejo be here?
And then he turned
it
around
wasn't,
and it
but
was
like-
Giancarlo D'Esposito.
You know that Danny
Totally fine.
Trejo owns a place called
Danny's Trejos and Tractors.
no, it's Donnie's something tacos, but it's or it might just be like Trejo's Tacos. But I think it's in LA. He has a taco shop, and apparently it's like some of the best tacos ever.
Very cool.
I've always wanted to go there.
Let's go to LA.
Did you know that the spice?
You know, we live about 13 hours away from.
I know, we've driven through. It's horrific.
It's horrible. I don't like that place.
I'd like to go there and just see the cool things instead of just driving through the
Are there
traffic.
cool
of it.
things?
I'm sure every place has cool things.
Yeah, but like
San Francisco has cool things, and it's bad. I mean, it's pretty rough down there. Can't quite
but they're proud of it.
pin why.
They're very proud.
Pretty proud.
Oh
They're
man,
prideful.
those poor other 7 deadly sins.
What?
Pride gets a whole month. And the rest of them.
Yeah.
Whoa, I've never thought about that.
Yeah,
I've actually
dude.
never thought about the whole pride movement thing being like how pride is a sin.
Yeah, it's one of the 7 deadly sins. Like,
Whoa.
when everything was broken
Dude, the
down.
world is so bad. I mean, just think about it.
Yeah.
Pride.
Like,
Yeah.
like
Oh.
everybody always thinks like Americans,
Yeah,
they're
I
like,
mean,
all gluttonous
the
and
almost
fat
good
and
connotations
sloth.
that have come with the word pride, specifically our culture.
That too.
I mean, in English, isn't it kind of like a double-edged?
It is.
It's good to have some level of
Like there's like
pride.
American pride,
yeah,
there's like
national pride.
national pride.
But
I mean, the word's been but
but
like
taking pride in your depravity.
That's less cool. Yeah.
it's so interesting how culturally, I mean, we don't celebrate it, but culturally, there is an entire month dedicated to one of the 7 deadly sins. Oh, that's interesting. It's not funny. It's sad.
It's very sad.
Sorry. I'm not laughing at all.
We also had American
Judas.
Idol.
Yeah. An idol.
An idol.
That's true.
That people pretty
Well,
much.
and there is something also to be said about like just using specific words and how some words have just changed in their meaning, right? So I think that word idol there is probably meaning something a little bit different, right?
American adulterer.
Simon Cowell's like, you're going to be the next American adulterer.
You don't have it in you.
You don't have it in you. No, how is it not? I mean, you're right. It is pretty much.
It is.
Yeah,
Like they're becoming the idol. Like that people strive to.
Yeah, I was going to say idol has like a less of a good connotation, I think, if you really think about it. Just because, like when I think of idol,
I think idol has
like who do you idolize?
Yeah,
like, who do you put up on a pedestal
idolize
and
idolater?
American idolater.
But yeah, those poor other 7 deadly sins.
Those poor guys.
They all get looked like as a bad thing.
Here, gluttony has the whole year.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well,
no,
like
it's got Thanksgiving.
It's got the whole country.
Yeah,
like everybody's view of America is like
we're all
fat, obese, lazy.
Well, are they wrong?
Creepy
so
Americans.
sloth and unless you're Japanese, then you think they're like big with the atomic bomb hairdo.
Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure they also still think that we're fat.
Oh, they probably do. Yeah. Well, we're pretty fat. We're pretty obese.
Well, we're pretty fat.
Well, you might be.
Listen here, pal.
Amongst the three of us here.
Just don't say that. I gained a little weight. I don't know. I'm kind of looking a little bit bigger.
You've gained a lot of weight.
A little bit more intimidating. It's fine.
So incredibly overweight.
Yeah.
Feel free to be.
Whenever Jude walks up the stairs, I hear them breaking. And when he sits down, the whole building shifts to that side.
I'm so far from being obese, but this still makes me like, I don't like this.
Oh, really?
I don't like this.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I thought because it's so ridiculously the other way.
No, it's funny. It just hurts my feelings. I'm going to internalize it.
That's probably good.
I'm fat. I need to lose weight.
Oh, yikes. If you become of that
bad.
opinion, we will be in dire straits. Okay, well, real quick, we're nearing an hour here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I don't know if we've had really productive conversation. We had some good stuff there with me apologizing. What? But I do want to talk about something interesting. I don't know if this will really go anywhere. Oh, that's a knife.
That was not a sound.
Levi just caught it with his mouth.
Ooh. That's not a knife.
That's
Levi.
the gun connected to the knife.
Gun knife.
Gun knife. No, I just wanted to talk about how these 2 shows I did, they went really well. It's a really good, a big praise. As for a lot of people right now, things are difficult in just economically. So for the company, it was really important that these go well, and they did go well. So praise God for that. But at which show was it? The second show we did in Roseburg. It's the slower of the 2, but I love the place there. I think it's such a beautiful area. You're kind of surrounded by all these mountains. The other show we do, it's just in a big open field right next to an airport. It's a huge, not open field, but it's a big fairground. But there's an airport right there, and so like every now and then, the most exciting thing that happens is like a really low flying airplane goes over, and you can feel it shake the ground or something. But like
you can feel like you're in Wayne's World.
Yeah. But this other show we did in Roseburg, it's just a beautiful area. Like there's just a lot of like pretty trees surrounding it, and there's mountains like right there, and it looks really pretty. And it's a cool fairground. They've got like these big, huge like log like entryway gate things that are made of like these massive logs connected to one another, and there's like little statues of bears crawling on them. It's just a cool little area, and there's a lot of like fun, family-friendly atmosphere type stuff. Like there's this little guy that drives around in a tiny little buggy, like those old-timey car buggy things. Mm-hmm. He I'm pretty sure he just turned a golf cart into one of those. What?
When you say like a little guy that drives around,
shut up.
Does he have a slide whistle?
Muppet.
Oh, okay.
There's this little buggy. I have a picture of it somewhere. I'll see if I can find it and I'll post it. It's definitely a golf cart that he turned into this, but it looks really convincing. It's got like a little canoe on the top, and it looks really cool. I just think it's adorable. And in the front of it, there's a Muppet that's like talking and like,
Oh,
hey,
there is an
guys."
actual Muppet.
Yes. He's like, "Hey guys, welcome to the fair." Because there's actually a dude somewhere tucked away inside of it in the back, and he can like see through
Driving
cracks.
blind.
And he's driving around the little fairground, and he's like, "Hey everybody, welcome to the fair." I just think it's great. It's one of my favorite things about that show. And then there's a guy that puts on a bubble show at the gate. So when kids walk in, he's got this little like picket fence that he puts up so they can't get to him, which is funny. But he has
I get to play
all
with
these
the
big
bubbles.
vats of like soapy water and these huge things that he like makes big, massive bubbles in the air, and kids just jump around and try and pop them. It's just, I love it.
I'm
I love
stuck in the bubble. I'm flying away.
Well, then if you pay him $10, he'll put you inside one of the bubbles.
Wait, really?
$10?
No, it's free. But if you ask him,
Oh,
he'll
I was
make-
going to be like, you could go to the Science and Arts Museum down by the waterfront.
No, he'll just like make a bubble around you and then you float away. But no, I love that kind of stuff. It's adorable. Like, it's so great seeing like families bring their little kids like 4 or 5 years old.
It's wholesome.
And yeah, it's wholesome because they're just like laughing and they love it and they're jumping around. But there was something I was into. Oh yeah. So I like this fair. It is a slower fair, so we get to kind of enjoy it a little more. And I enjoy working fairs because I like to talk to people and all that. And I like just getting to know the other people that are there. And so when I was walking around, I will try and find at every fair we do, see if there's like a gospel ministry truck or something. Because sometimes there are, especially these like county fairs. You'll see something that's like, want to see 3 things God can't do, and then you open the little doors and it's like nothing, or whatever. And then they've got you hooked and they'll tell you about their church. But I still like to go talk to them and thank them for what they're doing. It's important, especially at these places. They can be so full of like just needless drinking and stuff like that. Like they're a little light, at the fair. And so I always like to thank them and give them some kettle corn. But I knew the person at this one and I was going back to talk to them. He's a really nice guy. His name is Theron, which I think is such a cool name. Yeah. I hope he doesn't mind that I said his name on here.
Isn't there a machine called the Theron?
Oh, you're thinking of
The gun?
No. I think I know what you're talking about. Regardless, his name is Theron. I think that's a cool name. I've never heard that before. And I took him some kettle corn, and he remembered me from last year, which was cool. He was like, "Hey, it's my kettle corn making brother in Christ," or something. And
That's cool.
I gave him some, because I talked to him last year, and he started to kind of give me the spiel a little bit, because his truck says, in kind of a gloomy way, there's a sign that looks a little intimidating. It says, "Are you going to heaven or hell?
Oh.
Take our free test." And
It's one of those.
but I actually really like it because, and I remember talking to him and he tried
Wait, it's like one of those Huffington Post, like BuzzFeed, like take our free test.
Well,
to find
I mean,
out
it
if
is
you're
like
going to
a
heaven or
few
hell.
questions that, and the purpose of the question is to lead you in the direction of sharing the gospel with you. It's like, and here's where I'm getting is, the quiz is mostly, it's very Ray Comfort themed. Ray Comfort, Living Waters, like the guy that goes like, "Are you a good person?"
Oh, yeah.
And then they're like, "Well, I think I'm a good person." He goes, "Okay, well, the Bible says that, if you've lied, you're a liar. If you've ever, lusted, you're an adulterer," like that thing. And then by the end of it, you leave them feeling like they're terrible. No, but in all honesty, like people go, "Oh man, like I guess I'm not a good person." He goes, "Well, that's the point. None of us are, but God loves us so much regardless of it." And it's just a style of sharing the gospel. And so I went and talked to him again. He's just a really cool guy. And I was just very encouraged. I mean, the whole point of talking about this is that he remembered me, which was really cool. And I got to talk to him. And, we did this thing where he paid for some bags of kettle corn ahead of time. And he had these little Living Waters, Ray Comfort style gospel tracts that, say, "Are you a good person?" on them. And it's like a little comic book. And he had me sign them. And then that way, if people did take their quiz, like actually come up and say, "Hey, I want to take am I going to heaven or hell quiz?" Or like, "I actually want to know about it." If they did the whole thing, they could then go across the park and come find us. And if they brought us those little tracts, only the ones that had our signature on them, I would give them a free bag.
That's cool.
So it was super fun. And what was really cool is for us, like, it actually made me think about like, oh man, this is actually a really cool opportunity to do something meaningful, right? To use our business in a way, right? To glorify God. And then I found myself for a minute there thinking, oh man, and this is just a moment, right? But I think this is pretty normal. Oh man, this really, really, if I do this really paints Susie Q's as a Christian business. What if that hurts us? And I think that's really easy to think with a lot of stuff. Like, I know I've thought that with streaming and other things. It's like, oh, now to the public, they know, like, oh, you guys are Christians. And then I caught myself thinking that, and I was like, I don't care. Like, wait a second. I shouldn't care about that. If that's a real issue, I mean, we are called to, and I don't think this isn't me saying like, oh man, I'm such a brave hero. I went ahead and did it.
Branded our kettle corn business as Christian.
No, but at the same time, like, there are just little things like that, and that was where my mind went. I was like, oh man, there's no going back.
It's the enemy slipping in.
It really is.
For just half a second. You don't want to be seen as a Christian company, do you?
Well, because then it's like, then people might ask, and then I was like, wait a second. Yeah, they might ask. I should want this. I should want opportunities to share the gospel. And I was like, and I don't really do that very much. I will be open with people that I am a Christian, and if they ask me about it, I will talk to them about it, and I will share the gospel. But I'm like, and I'll wear a T-shirt sometimes that says something about Jesus or Christian influence, and if someone asks, I'll tell them about it. Or if they seem interested in that sort of thing, I'll bring it up and I'll share the gospel with them. But I was like, I'm not super. I mean, like, people like this who are wearing a shirt or whatever that says, "Are you going to heaven or hell?" Ask me. Like, that's a street ministry style thing. Yeah. So this was a cool way of doing it, or a cool way of being a part of it. And I'm looking forward to next year, because we're going to try and do something else like that, probably with more thought put into it ahead of time.
Yeah.
And like a little thing, like a tract or something that people can bring us. But we got to talk to a bunch of people, and we did like 21 of them. And he handed them out to people, and people would come up and be like, hey, I'm supposed to give this to you for a free bag of kettle corn. And I'd have to be like, all right, well, did you read it? And most of the time people were pretty honest. There was one person who was like, yeah, I read it. It was really interesting. It actually made me realize I should probably get back to church. I moved out here, and we never found it. My mom and I never found a new church. And this kind of just felt like a message from God to tell me, like, I should go find a church, which was super awesome.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of people that were like, no. Like, all right, well, I'm not going to give you the free bag unless you read it. And then there's no way of knowing if they like did turn around and read it, except for some of them would go like sit down at the chairs right by our tent, and I just watched them read it. Not in a creepy way, but
you were just staring them down.
Next page. No, but like I would look over and I'd see like they were actually reading it. And then there was one girl that came back and was like, I was like, well, did you read it? And she's like, yep. I said, what'd you think of it? And she goes, well, actually it was interesting, more interesting than I thought it would be. And I was like, do you think, do you know anybody who goes to church? And she's like, yeah. I was like, do you think if you asked that maybe you could go to church with them? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, I think you should. She said, yeah, I think I will. So it's pretty cool.
I think I will.
I think I will.
There's so much anxiety with being, just thinking about being branded as a Christian, which sounds strange, but
yeah.
My Bible teacher used to tell us a story about when he went to get his haircut, and he would just he would like make up a personality for fun. There was no malicious intent, but they'd be like, "Hey, what's your name?" He'd be like, "I'm this, and I'm studying to be this," and just this grand tale or whatever. But then he slowly started to realize that he was doing it because anytime he was asked, "Oh, what do you do?" "Well, I'm studying to get my doctorate in this. I'm a Bible teacher." Yeah. Then they'd start asking about it, and he would have to spend the entire, because most people would actually keep talking, so he'd have to spend the entire haircut like talking and I mean preaching to these people in a way. Mm-hmm. And that was like, it may not be what you want to do when you get your haircut. That's fine to, it's not like that's expected for you to be something you're like, man, I'm getting my haircut, I really want to preach, but
at the same time,
it was deeply convicting.
Or not.
Yeah, because he was like, what a perfect opportunity to share the gospel. And I've just...
While they have sharp blades next to your head.
Yeah, well...
No, I'm just kidding.
And the reason that I have been finding something else to do during that is because they want me to share the gospel with them. So It was a very convicting moment. But I think it speaks to a lot of us and how... we don't even really think about it. There is just this fear of being labeled, but wearing the label of Christian. And I think if we stop to consider it for a while, will find yourselves not only not being afraid of it, but maybe wanting to be more seen as a Christian more.
Yeah, embracing it.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to like wear the T-shirt that says Jesus over fear, or
got prayer.
Jesus is enough, or got prayer, right? But then you're like, because there's like, I mean, when we were in high school, we went to a Christian school. Obviously, we've talked about it, and I mean, we had it every year. We'd have a theme. We had a T-shirt one year, right, that said "Got Prayer" on it, and I remember wearing that to a catering one day where I was just gonna be working the back, so I didn't have to wear anything nice. And there was a lady that was like very rude because she saw it and was like, "Oh, got prayer? Are you a Christian?" And she's like, "If you want, I'll answer your question. No, I've never prayed and I never will." Whoa. And I was like, well, this is maybe, and I remember feeling like maybe this is why I shouldn't wear these things in public, you know, because it's like, oh, and then the rest of the catering, she was very rude to me. And she made some other snide comment about me being a Christian. Oh, she said something about Christians being misogynists or something, and how Christians hate women.
Very classic anti-Christian approach.
Yeah. And I was just like, okay, whatever.
That's like,
I was like, I'm 16, lady, and you're making me want to be misogynist. No.
Oh my God. You've never prayed? Well, it shows, lady. No,
in all seriousness, no. I remember thinking like, oh, this is it. You know, you have those experiences, but the vast majority of the time, I mean, I don't think we do. Like the T-shirt thing is kind of different. It's like people see that and they're like, oh, cool, whatever, or they just don't say anything or they don't care. But you know, like actually encouraging it, like there's this mode of thinking where people are like, you're trying to force your religion on me, aren't you? And it's like, well, no, I'll give you a free bag of kettle corn if you just read that gospel tract. I don't think I'm forcing it on you. Don't have to take the kettle corn, but no, I guess I had a similar experience to what you were just saying. That,
but even in that experience, it was like an inherently negative reaction to the shirt. But what a great opportunity to just turn the other cheek to someone who's, I mean, pretty much berating you.
Well, she was trying to get a rise out of it. And I don't think it's been, well, let's see. It's been 10 years or 8 years since.
And you're still thinking about it. She really got
still mad.
Oh, no,
she got so.
Every day I go to bed, I think about it.
She's now smiling because she can feel.
I don't think she was as mad about the shirt as she was just the fact that that's all you were wearing.
Ew.
And well, an apron.
I mean, it's got to say something about the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
there's something weighing on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I talked to the guy at the fair about that. I was like, how often do you have people walk up and they're just like, you know, they're rude or they're just, you know, adamantly against what you're doing? And he's like, well, you can kind of tell who's going to do that. You know, either people will walk up and be like kind of trying to poke at you, and then by the end you might say something that they find meaningful and then they get uncomfortable and walk away, or people walk up and they kind of poke at you and then you say some stuff, you talk to them a little bit about the gospel, and then they kind of just say something crazy and walk away. Like there was some guy that was like, oh yeah, well, life's just about meth. And then he walked away, you know, like said something crazy like that.
That is actually crazy.
And then he's like, there's also the people that you can clearly tell they're like, they see it and they feel a little uncomfortable because they're like walking around with the girlfriend that they live with or something. And they, you know, you can just kind of, he's like, you can kind of see it on like, there's these young kids who probably have been to church or something, and they're here with their girlfriend, and then they see this thing, this reminder, you know, of their sin kind of. And he's like, you can kind of see it. And then they just don't walk up. And sometimes you have to ask them like, hey, can I talk to you for a little bit? And very rarely do they step up, but when they do, you know, it's good. But no, I just wanted to bring it up because it was a great encouragement to me on that trip. I wasn't able to go to church those 2 weeks that I was gone. And I mean, obviously that's not a replacement for church, but a lot of times church can be a huge encouragement for the week, right? Kind of refilling your cup a little bit. And that's kind of what that ended up being, was talking to this guy and being like, oh yeah, man, this is just, he encouraged me to be a little bit more outspoken. So I was a little less worried about talking to people, even representing a business, you know, just being like, hey, did you read it? Did you find it impactful? You know, yeah, I'm a Christian myself, you know, offering to pray with them and stuff. So I'm excited for next year when hopefully I'll get a lot more opportunities to do that, because we're going to pass out a lot more of those.
Because we're
just going to pass out.
Because
we're going to stage
pass out
a miracle.
So
stage a miracle.
No, don't do that.
That's bad.
There's a new Christian movie coming out about like, this is totally shifting gears. I'm sorry, but about these
That was me shifting gears.
these like mega church pastors. You know how like they go way overboard. There's a movie coming out on what's it called, Pure Flix or something. The same people that make The Chosen, and it looks actually pretty funny. It actually looks like a funny Christian movie. It's about like some crazy mega church pastor who like every year, the plot of the movie is like every year he goes one step too far. Like this year's nativity scene or whatever, we're going to do this, or this year on Easter,
We're going to actually crucify people.
that's the joke. Yes. He's like, this year on Easter, we actually rolled aside a tomb or whatever. Then the whole like crazy thing is that this year I want to stage an actual crucifixion. And people are like, dude, okay. Because they're like, we got to stop Paul. He's going to go too far this year. And then he's like, this year, we're going to stage an actual crucifixion.
Okay,
and they're like,
you get to be the one to be crucified then.
they're like, well, and he's like, well, if I talked to a doctor and he said if he does it this way, then we'll be okay. It'll just be really painful. And so the whole point is like trying to reach this pastor who is like leading. It's obviously playing off of the whole prosperity gospel, mega church pastors. And they're like, he's leading the biggest church in the area, like thousands of people, and he's leading them really astray. And these people are trying to like rein it back in. And it actually looks interesting. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
I probably am not doing it justice. I'll find the trailer for it and put it in the Discord. Well, if there's nothing else, or did you have something else?
If there's time.
No, there isn't. Time.
Okay.
No, we're already in now.
Well, it's this cool thing.
We'll get to it next week.
Okay. Next week.
I'll write here. Let me write it down.
Yeah.
Jude.
I think you wrote something down already, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I just forgot to read it. Jude.
Do we leave this part in?
Really?
Every
Yeah,
time.
we always do. Did really want
That's amazing.
to talk.
Why is it written in broken English?
Wait,
About-
so they've heard the prompt every single week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
About what was it? AI.
Picture culture.
A1
Yeah, we got
sauce.
it. All right. AI picture culture war. Things are more interesting when you add the word war at the end.
We're gonna get 60 episodes deep, and you're like, "Hey, do you remember what you wanted to talk about?" It says
Tom and Jerry.
alien robot genocide.
And Jude, you're just chomping at the bit every single
And I'm like,
episode.
I think I
wanting
remember.
to-
Yeah. Alien robot. What? I don't remember
I
at
don't
all.
remember this.
Yeah.
It just gets farther and farther detached.
Alrighty, everybody. Thank you for listening. It's good to be back. We will talk to you again next week. We love you very much.
And roll the outro.
I end the program by saying, you've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are.